Hi there. Welcome back to Authors on the Air. I'm your host,
Thank
James
you.
Lacwell, and with us we have Elise Hart Kipness. How are you,
I
Elise?
jumped on your intro. I
Yeah.
apologize. I'm just so excited to be here.
No, it's good to see you. It's good to talk to you, and it's always fun to talk about this series. And Elise's new book is A Close Call, and it's the Kate Green series. This is the third book in the series, and I have to say I think it's my favorite in the series. Yeah, you learn a lot more about Elise, her background, where she's coming from, other secrets that we'll talk about. But yeah, it's a really fun book, and I think you did Kate proud.
Thank you so much, and thank you for saying that because, you're always nervous, right? Like I felt really good about the progression from Lights Out to Dangerous Play.
Mhm.
And then, this is kind of more of a straight thriller, right? It doesn't and so I'm so happy to hear you say that because I'm kind of really fond of it too, but you never know. And
Yeah.
so that made my day.
Oh, well, that's what I'm here for. Uh, Now, for folks that maybe haven't picked up the series, and you could read Close Call without reading the previous two books, but tell people a little bit about Kate and what she's been through with Lights Out, Dangerous Play, and now Close Call.
Sure. So I like to think of Kate as the way cooler version of me. Like Kate, I was a sports reporter, and she's a sports reporter, but she's coming off of being an Olympic gold medalist in soccer, and I was a soccer mom, and I think she's much braver than I was as a reporter. I feel like she stands up to things in a way that I was kind of nervous too. I was scared too. I thought it could be career ending. I was young, um, and Kate's tough, in a good way, not
Mhm.
and strong. Now her family drama, like my family is very boring, and if I wrote about them, like everyone would be sleeping by page two. But the Kate's family has like some serious demons, and she has a very she starts off in Lights Out with an estranged relationship with her NYPD detective biological father because she was
Right.
raised by her stepfather
Mhm.
on the West Coast, and she's now living on the East Coast. And that relationship progresses, and a mystery behind maybe the real reason why they're estranged and why her biological father cut relationships off with her and her brother is sort of um, investigated,
Mhm.
and little bits of it come out throughout the series. So that's kind of like a series arc. And that was really fun to write.
Yeah, I mean, you teased it a little bit in the last book with the secrets about her dad and what was going on in his life, but there was more revealed in Close Call that just kind of it's like, oh, that's why all this stuff happened in the
Yes.
past. So that was really well done. That was very cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I felt like the readers have suffered through two books of not knowing, and that it was time to like reward them. Like if you stuck with me to book three, yeah,
Mhm.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah, and yeah, that kind of that I thought that was a nice touch. Now you mentioned it a little bit, but Kate's very smart. She's tough, and she knows how to get a story. How much of her is you? I mean, you said she's a cooler version of you, but there's still some of her that I could see being. How close is she?
Yeah, I mean, all the elements of reporting and the behind the scenes, whether it's the reporting live or interviewing the players, especially in Close Call, because I really go into the interviews play an important role,
Mhm.
and the places that they're being interviewed. Most of those were places I actually was, like the interview rooms in at the US Open. I had interviewed Venus Williams in one of those right
Mm.
after she had won the US Open. I believe for the first time, and it was against her sister. And
Wow.
that was such an interesting interview because she was like so happy to have won, but at the same time, she's like, Serena, you weren't doing this right. You weren't doing that right. Like she definitely had so much empathy for her sister. Um, and with close call, there's there's so much drama in the world of tennis in a different way than there is in team sports because you're out there alone. You don't even have a coach who's allowed to talk to you during it. And then the interpersonal relationships and mixes, like you're on tour with your competitor, and maybe your coach is now coaching your rival, and your family is usually or often very hyper involved. Many parents are coaches. So that's all things I really did witness and report on. And while I fictionalized all the stories, there's definitely themes that were part of my reporting on a day-to-day life.
No, it made for a very realistic kind of experience when you're reading Close Call, because I wasn't involved in that, but I've been in media stuff for political things in California, and to see some of those behind the scenes things, it was like, oh yeah, that really does happen. So that was fun to read.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I'm glad yeah, you were able to kind of, you know, touch on that, see that.
Yeah. Now, the each of the books has covered a different sport, and I don't, whether it's soccer or basketball or tennis, which one do you find more cutthroat?
Hmm. I think tennis. And again, I think it's because it's an individual sport.
Hmm.
I think they're all I think when you're a professional athlete, everything's cutthroat. But with soccer and with basketball, you also have teammates and camaraderie. And even though there might be some competition with your teammates for, like, say, every soccer team has backup players, and you're fighting to be the starter. And same with any team sport. Um, you still need to play together to win, and you're still going to have a friend and a someone there for you. But in tennis, especially singles, I feel like you are alone. You are alone in the world. And even with golf, you have your caddy, like I just think tennis is the most lonely sport there is. Um, I played, it was the only sport. I'm turning off my phone because I don't want someone to call us. Ah, okay. Um, I played tennis when I was younger, and I'm not great with competition. Like I would be winning, and then I would know I'm winning, and then I'd get in my head, and I would like choke. That's like the story of my life with sports. So I was better, as a side person. But I just remember, and I never made it to singles. I was like the last doubles my freshman year on my high school team. It was so vicious. It was so vicious. I don't know if you ever read Andre Agassi's book Open,
Mm.
which is the most phenomenal autobiography I think I've ever read. But he really, I think, does such a good job of showing it and showing what it's like to be a tennis player. And you have to start so young and by
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the isolation really getting to people, and you kind of bring that in the book, where you have these two tennis stars, one coming up, and one is, how long is she going to be in the game? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of sense that pull that they're feeling in their careers. So that was fun. But I know you did research. You've lived in that world. You covered the U.S. Open. But I understand you did some other research that maybe has been going on for years.
Yeah, so it's interesting because the US Open was a sport that, because I grew up on Long Island, it was what everyone went to. It was like such a happening. And, it's a very like glamorous event. It's like, the it concert to go to. So I grew up going, and then I covered it. But I wanted to go back to just kind of check some stuff, and with, that kind of crime fiction writer's eye. So I'm sitting there with my son. He came with me, and we're at the outer courts, and all of a sudden I'm like bolting. And because I saw something on the concourse, and the ushers don't like when you get up and leave. So already I was like, getting dirty looks and stuff. And I go and I chase something. My son's like, "Where'd you go?" And I take out my phone and I show him a picture of a giant refrigerator being wheeled on a dolly. And I'm like, this is such a good place to hide a body. And it's like, that's how we are, right? That's how crime writers are. So when I went with that vision of, needing places to have private conversations, like was patio furniture set up in a very small area with like an ice cream stand and one other store. I mean, it looked like it should be in the backyard of someone's house. Um, I was finding things to weave into the setting and the plot of the book. So it was definitely like we're at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and Ryan, my son, is looking down at the action, and I'm like looking up at those cameras on the cables. I'm like, what if one falls? So it's a very different experience. I'm like taking pictures up, everyone's taking pictures down.
That's great. No, it definitely worked for what you brought into the book. Now, as a former sports journalist, you've interviewed athletes at the top of their game, and in reading Close Call, I was wondering, from those people that you interviewed, how many do you think had these dark secrets in their past that they just kind of glossed over? That how many of them are like we find in Close Call?
Oh, I don't know that any of them are. These secrets were definitely all made up. Um, but there are interesting other secrets that these players have. I mean, there are themes that are in general comparable. Like there are my up and coming player, Brynn, is coached by her father, and there's a lot of pressure there. And we could name a bunch of players who are young who have been coached by family members, and then never talked to their family members again,
Mhm.
or got closer, or the family member had coached another person. So that's like a scenario that has been repeated in the world of tennis. And then maybe choices we make at different ages, that's not something I know of. And I don't want to say more than that because I don't want to give something away. But that was like pure fiction, but it's not unimaginable that it could happen, right? And
Right.
I just would never be privy to it. But you certainly see the toll on players' mental health
Hmm.
that comes into play, especially in tennis, because players have been more open about that. And the competition and the the bitterness. I mean, another player who's talked very openly about it is Jimmy Connors. Um,
Yeah.
uh, he was a very isolating figure, and other players have talked about how he treated people in the locker rooms. And he would say, like, these are my competitors, but you also want friends, like, so it's that conflict of like, I'm with you every day, but literally um my career. And don't forget, in tennis, your salary is based on how far you go
Yeah.
in each tournament. So it's not like a lot of other team sports where you might get a bonus, like, oh, you got this far in the playoffs, or you won the Super Bowl, and you get like a bonus on it. But you're literally, every paycheck is based on how far you go in that tournament. So it's just like such a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
You
Now,
could tell I get very excited about pressure cookers and
yeah.
tension and
Well, it shows it,
angst.
and because it's such a pressure, the series has been such a pressure cooker. Kate doesn't have a lot of time outside of her work and drama with her dad to have much of a personal life. but this time Wade kind of crosses her bow.
Yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, what was it like to bring that kind of an interest into Kate's character?
Honestly, it was the hardest thing for me to write in 3 years. I am not good at writing. I don't wanna say I'm not good. It's a challenge. It comes hard to me to write romantic relationships. Um, so it was really nice to just have her be like, "Yeah." But it's something I'm really thinking about because I think it's an important element in books. So in my next book, and I am dipping my toe into starting a new series. I am working on that. That's my new challenge. So yeah, I can't hide behind the tough working all day long, no time for romance kind of person. I mean, still a thriller. Like I'm just dipping my
Oh
toe
yeah,
in there, but like I need something.
but I thought it was handled well. I mean, I didn't get the sense that it was struggled or artificial. It felt
Thanks.
real in that, she didn't have a lot of time. This guy's, there, and this just kind of slowly develops as the book goes on. So I thought it was handled really well, and it seemed,
Thank
authentic
you.
and real. So I I
I
thought that was a
really
good
didn't
piece.
thank you. I really didn't want it to be like, "Oh, I saw him and sparks were flying." Like, I
Yeah,
wanted it to be about his personality and their
right.
because I think Kate is a very substantive person.
Hmm.
So, he needed to be a certain type of person, and thank you for saying that. That actually means a lot. So,
Oh,
yay.
yeah, my pleasure. Now you're a very busy person, but you were the co-founding president of your Sisters in Crime chapter there in
Yep.
Connecticut. I mean, I see you at Thriller Fest and other conferences all year long. How important is it for writers kind of just getting immersed into this field to get get jump into those networks and communities?
It's huge. It's kind of everything. I I mean, I owe, and I may have told you this before, but I really owe my career start to my co-founder Tessa Wiegert,
Mm.
who was ahead in her career than me, and we were co-founders of Sisters in Crime Connecticut. And she's the one who's like, "You have to go to Pitch Fest. You have to go to ITW." And I found my agent at one of those pitching
Mm.
festivals. Um, Best agent, Liza Fleisig, yay. Um, and I I I found my community there and it keeps growing. And I mean, people were so nice to me. And you were
Mm.
one of those people before I even had a book out. And, that's not something you forget. Like the people who embrace you before anything happens. And I think it's really important. Now I'm teaching actually at Westport Writers Workshop. I'm an
Yeah.
instructor. And I keep telling the students that you want to go to these conferences, you want to go together, and you want to form your community of people because they're going to be with you through all the stages.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important also to compare notes, whether you're commiserating about something that's really challenging or hard or something you're going through, or, just having fun and seeing people because, usually we're like very isolated. I mean, you're very involved in a lot of these conferences and communities. I mean, you're a real leader in it.
Yeah, well, I try, and I'm kind of the same as you. I owe so much to, Mystery Writers America and ITW for kind of welcoming me to this community. It's not what at all what I expected. Like you said, some of the best people, and we're just very supportive, and yeah, it's wonderful. I didn't know that you met Liza through Pitch Fest, though. That's interesting.
Yes, yes, I pitched her, and
That's an
yeah,
experience.
it was just like I couldn't even believe that and I really didn't wanna go, like, I was in the bathroom right before Pitch Fest, really nervous, and
Yeah.
and, um, Tessa must have like nagged me like 20 times before I agreed to go to Pitch Fest. Now, she was running Pitch Fest, but she's
Yes.
like, I'll hold your hand. Don't like don't worry.
Yeah.
And you were probably there that day. And it really, I mean, it was life-changing for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's great. And yeah, Liza's great. She's a fantastic person. So
yeah, yeah.
you got a good
He's
one.
really, I'm so lucky. Yes, yes.
All right, we're going to
Yeah.
finish up with something we call three quick hits, and it's just three questions as Kate would answer them.
As
So
Kate would. Okay.
as Kate would. So what is her favorite drink? What does she like to drink?
Oh my God. Coffee, 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 black, nothing in it. And she's a coffee snob and will look down at you if you're drinking it with like frilly whipped cream and stuff.
Yes, that is exactly right. How about her music? What does she listen to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I am going to say, huh, you stumped me. Because she really doesn't listen to music. She always has the news station on or the sports station, and so she listens to talk radio.
Hmm. I could see that. I would think if I had to peg her, I'd say some kind of alternative rock kind of thing that I could see her listening to.
And something I wouldn't
Yeah.
have a clue. So, yes, fair. I was
And
going
then
to say Billy, but that's the Long Islander in me. And she's younger than me. So, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so finally, then, what's her greatest fear?
Her greatest fear is abandonment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because,
exactly right. Yeah, on
yay.
so many levels. Um, Folks, we've been talking with Elise Hart Kipness. Her new book, Close Call, comes out on August 19th. And like I said, this is the best of the series so far. So, folks, you want to go out and grab this. It's a fun read.
Thank you. Thanks. Did you notice, by the way, that I matched my book cover? I did that on
I did
purpose.
kind of notice that. And did you
Yeah.
notice the little, just on the shelf here, there's
My
a little,
mints?
yeah, your little
Oh, yes.
tennis ball mints.
If anyone comes to my sees me on tour, I'm bringing little tennis ball close call mints.
That's very nice. Elise, thanks for coming on Authors on the Air. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet.